Hi, Steve, KB3ORG, and welcome to This Old Ham Shack. Today we're going to be going over Field Day 2020 and what I did with my radio group, W3SK Penn Wireless. A group of 4 of us went out there. We were all stationed apart from each other because we had to be socially distanced. There was no formal field day like we used to have. No food, no nothing. We're all on our own. And we're going to go over what exactly happened because I had the ham van out there. And if you don't know what that is, keep watching. I'll show you exactly what a ham van is. This Old Ham Shack is brought to you by bunkerstuff.com. They carry a full line of customizable and personalized items for the ham radio, storm chasing, fire, and EMS communities. Be sure to visit their website at bunkerstuff.com. Okay, so this year Field Day was a little different. As everybody knows, with the virus, we were all out to be 1Ds at home using commercial power and being able to make the contacts. But with our group, Penn Wireless, 4 of us decided to go out and completely sequester ourselves away from each other in 4 different corners. I went out there with Roy, KB3LNP, Tom, AF4NC, and Howard N3FEL. And I'll use this video to give a shout out to Howard for organizing everything for Field Day like he normally does. This was not an organized Field Day event. We had no food. The camaraderie was shouted across the parking lots because we were all separated out. I did take the ham van out. I set that up. That's what we're about to see, is me setting it up. And then we'll see what happened from there. And here's what a ham van looks like. It's a decommissioned 2003 Power Transit bus. The interior has been completely gutted with all the seats removed, and I'll show you what the inside looks like a little later. But for right now, let's go through how we set this up for radio communications. This is the main reason why I chose this vehicle. It still has the operating wheelchair lift still in it. This makes getting all the gear like the generator, AC unit, coolers, supplies, in and out of the vehicle really easy. I don't have to lift a thing. The first thing I do is put up the sun shields. Even though I have an AC unit to cool the inside, I found that on sunny days the sun beating down and coming through the windows overwhelms the cooling unit. The windows actually got hot to the touch. So I took a couple sheets of pink 1/2-inch foam insulation and glued some dollar store vehicle sun shields to it. This keeps the sun from turning the van into a convection oven. The windows are actually cool to touch now. The shields had 3 tie downs that I used to pull the foam board up. The power cord on each end I crisscrossed to ensure that the board stays flat against the vehicle in case of high winds. Here's the wheelchair lift in use. As you can see, it really makes getting things in and out really easy. The next task is installing the rear bulkhead. That's just a fancy word for a piece of 1/2-inch PVC sheeting that screws in where the rear door is. The bulkhead has 3 ports drilled in it, one for the AC inflow, one for the AC outflow, and a pass-through for the electrical cables and the antenna cables. Now it's time to put up the antenna. The antenna I'm using is the MFJ-2012 off-center fed antenna. This OCF allows me to operate on 6, 10, 20, and 40. I've used this antenna for the past 5 field days with great success. It's always a flat match on every band. The antenna is attached to my mast, which is a Max Gain Systems 30-foot fiberglass push-up pole. The mast is secured to the vehicle with 2 antenna clamps that are bolted all the way through the vehicle's back wall. They're not going anywhere. This is the 2nd year that I'm using this particular mast, and I just love it. For being 30-foot and fiberglass, it's extremely sturdy. I usually guide a little above the middle, since the first 6 feet of the pole is securely clamped into the ham van with the 2 antenna mast clamps. I'll put a link to Max Gain Systems below. I highly recommend them, and their customer service is terrific. You can't tell here because the door is open, but there are 2 more clamps to the left of the door. This way I can have 2 masts up at a time. I usually mount a smaller mast that has a weather station package mounted to it. Okay, as luck would have it, I didn't turn the camera back on when I was putting up the antenna, but I'll go over it real quick. Don't know if you'll hear me. But Mast screws in here. OCF's all the way up top. I got a couple guy wires here in the mid. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go and we're going to guy it up, because we are supposed to get some storms later today. So I don't know if I'm out of frame or not. We're supposed to get some storms later today, so I want to make sure it gets all guyed up. Rookie mistake. I forgot to bring a hammer. After going across the park and borrowing Howard's hammer, I came back and started to do all the guying. Now it's time to run the cables through the access port. First we'll do the antenna, and then we'll do the electrical cords. This is the last and final step, the air conditioning unit. Actually, it's a whole HVAC unit, because this also provides heat too, so I'm hoping to take it out this year for winter field day, should all the restrictions be lifted by January 2021. There's two ports for this air conditioner, one that takes the inside air out, or the hot air out, or the cold air, depending on which mode you have it set in, and the other hose blows in either the hot or cold air. Of course, today we're going to be blowing in some cold air. Okay, I don't know how well you're going to hear me. I don't have the mic on. But here is the ham van on the inside, all set up. If you look over to here, there's an operating table here. There's cushions on top of that right now, that those actually fold out so I can sleep on the floor. And over here, there's another bank of tables, which is where my operating station is for Field Day 2020. It's got the Yaesu 450D. Notebook for logging and some paper, and what we'll do next is we'll give you a close-up of that so you can see what that looks like.
Use the W3.
Okay, so this is my operating station for this year. I have the power supply, the Yaesu 450D, of course your notepad, which you always need, and my Surface notebook, which is running N3FJP. Howard across the lot from us, which we'll introduce you to later, he's the one running the server, so we can all manage what frequency we're on, so we're not stepping on each other and we keep within the rules. So it is a little after 12, less than 2 hours to go until go time. We'll see you all then. Okay, unfortunately this is where the video ends. Just as I was getting ready to do more video on my operations, I turned around and saw that Roy was breaking down. Tom Mills was chasing his tent across the park. The storm was coming in. As a matter of fact, it was hard to even make contacts and exchange information for all the lightning crashes that were going on. And just as we were tearing down, because everybody decided to go home, we're bugging out. The skies opened up and I was soaking wringing wet, and I didn't even feel like taking any video myself, looking like a drowned rat. So that was pretty much the end of my field day experience. It ended Saturday afternoon. Tearing down, I had hurt my back, and Sunday I didn't even feel like getting on radio because I really enjoy field day, so it was very disappointing. But some future videos are going to be taking the ham van. We're going to be doing some projects on there that you'll be interested to see. More organization, more radios going in, more communication devices going in there. So these are going to be some of the future videos. So if you like this video and you'd like to see more of them, please click on subscribe and hit the bell so you can be notified when they come out. And if you have any comments, please leave them. I'd love to answer any of your questions. So until next time, this is Steve, KB3ORG, with This Old Ham Shack.